We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for Jacks, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting Jacks.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Emerson Burris will join me shortly. Coming up, the women zero in on the playoffs. The men prepare for a trip to Indianapolis. And we'll hear from former UNF star Luc Granitur on what it means for him to play for Sporting Jacks. Plus an overseas trip in our youth soccer spotlight. But let's start with the women, who had two games this past week and playoff clinching scenarios on Wednesday night. The week began with Sunday's meeting with Brooklyn FC, coming off consecutive losses for the first time all season. The women look to get back in the win column. To Hodges Stadium we go. Here's how it started. Just past the quarter-hour mark, Bailey DeSmit makes the turn, gets into the box. She's taken down. It's a penalty. And DeSmit will step up and bury the PK. Her 10th goal of the year, and it's 1-0 Sporting Jacks. DeSmit, the third Sporting Jacks player to reach double digits in goals this season. It was 1-0 at halftime. Second half, Meg Hughes feeds Grace Philpotts, and watch this sequence. Philpotts crosses it, defended by Brooklyn. Paige Kenton gets ahead to it, then headed back by Sophia Bowman, and then DeSmit puts it away. 11 goals for DeSmit, third best in the league. It's 2-0 Jacksonville. Take another look at this action. It is a wild goal, and what a smart play by Bowman right here to head it back to her teammate, who puts it away. It remained 2-0. Until the 67th minute. She get one more good look at this goal by DeSmit, who's been red hot lately. 67th minute off a long free kick. The ball is headed by Georgia Brown, but it goes in for an own goal. Watch what happens next, though. Kate Parks grabs the ball. Brooklyn's Rebecca Cook tries to pull it out of her arms. There's a scuffle. Parks pulls away. Cook flops into the goal, and out of that, Parks gets a red card. So in comes Jamie Gerstenberg, who hadn't seen action in a game since the first half of the season. 76th minute, she's tested, but comes up big. A minute later, Gerstenberg, former Big Ten goalkeeper of the year for Indiana, is tested again. But nothing is getting through Jamie Gerstenberg on this day. That's the way it ends. 2-1 to Sporting Jacks, who move to 3 points ahead in the table with 2 games left in the regular season. Then on Wednesday, Sporting Jacks travel to the nation's capital to face DC Power FC, and again, Gerstenberg pressed into service because of the red card. She came up big. 28th minute, a giveaway in DC in transition. Deja Torbert can't get it past her, and then a save not needed on the second attempt, but Sporting Jacks keeps it at 0-0, just past the half-hour mark. Watch this pass by Sophia Bowman and the footwork by Bailey DeSmit to find a little space and blast it home. DeSmit's 12th goal of the season. That ties her for second in the league with Ashlyn Puerta. Sporting Jacks up 1-0. Take another look. This pass is perfectly weighted, and then just a nice little sequence to get clear. And that would be all that Sporting Jacks would need. It's a 1-0 victory in the nation's capital. With that, Sporting Jacks clinches a home playoff game. Top of the table. One match to go for Sporting Jacks a week from today. Others have 2 games to go, but Lexington, who's following closely, must win out in order to have a chance to catch Sporting Jacks for the top spot and the Players' Shield. That Players' Shield spot also means home pitch advantage throughout the playoffs. So, Carolina has clinched a spot. Now it comes down to the 4th and final spot in the playoffs. Dallas, DC, and Spokane. Dallas has been the hottest of those 3 teams. Spokane has a couple of games at home. Dallas also has matchups with the 2 Florida teams who are eliminated, Tampa Bay and Fort Lauderdale. So we'll follow this closely over the course of the week to see what indeed will be needed when Sporting Jacks plays next. Speaking of the playoff scenarios, as of right now, Sporting Jacks with a win next week against Carolina would clinch the Players' Shield. They would also clinch the Players' Shield with a Lexington loss or draw this weekend. Things are looking up, as they have been for most of the past two-thirds of the season. Sporting Jacks looking to go into the postseason on a roll with plenty to celebrate. And with one more road game remaining on the season, a week from today at Carolina, Sporting Jacks players are contending for some big honors. Ashlyn Puerta, second in the Golden Boot race with 12 goals, tied with Bailey DeSmit. Paige Kenton has 10. Lexington's Kat Berry leads the race with 15 goals. But remember, Puerta had a hat trick in Carolina back in September, so who knows what might happen on the last day of the season. The Golden Playmaker Award is also coming down to the wire. Sporting Jacks left wingback Meg Hughes has 7 assists. So does forward Paige Kenton. So does Ashlyn Puerta. They're all tied with Brooklyn's Sam Kroger atop the assist charts. This is an award that could be decided on the final weekend of the season. And then there is the Golden Glove. Kate Parks has 10 clean sheets, tied for most in the league, and is second in the league in save percentage and goals against average. She's been terrific in goal and will be back to action for the regular season finale next Saturday to try to improve on her already impressive numbers. We now welcome in Becky Burley. Becky, let's start with those individual awards. It's very impressive that there have been so many outstanding seasons on just one team and an expansion team at that.
It is crazy to think about the individual performances and from such young players. I think that's like kind of a lesson for a lot of GMs in the future to look at roster building and not be afraid to take a risk on some younger players.
All right, let's spend some time on the playoff chase. With the win on Wednesday night, Sporting Jacks has clinched at least one home playoff game. Now they'll really dig in for that one game at a time mentality for next week's matchup at Carolina.
It certainly has been a remarkable season for an expansion team. And again, not to bring up the youth part again, but when you look at how young this team is and to see what they're doing, I almost feel like there's a competitive advantage in that. Either one, from they don't know what to be worried about, or two, that there's just this team camaraderie that is kind of like a transfer from, say, like a collegiate team. It's got that feel of that camaraderie that I think is helping them perform on the field as well.
All right, how would you approach next week's final game? We could talk about this more on next week's show, but do you treat this game as any other game?
Oh, 100% some things to play for, but I also think it's going to feel like a playoff game. And I think that's a really important thing for this group because of their age. They haven't had a ton of experience like that. There's going to be something on the line. So you kind of get a dry run at a playoff feel against a real quality opponent that's surging at the end of the season, which is the right time to do that if you're Carolina.
Becky, thank you. For the playoff tickets, now's the great time to get those reserved. We do know that May 24th, that's Sunday at 5 o'clock, it'll be Sporting Jacks hosting somebody. For tickets, go to sportingjacks.com or call 904-863-KICK. The men had a tough one in Charleston last week after 4 straight 1-0 losses. An early red card made life difficult on Sporting Jacks. To Patriots Point we go. And early on, 18th minute, the pivotal moment. Charleston with a long ball over the top. Tyshawn Rose is back in defending and knocks the Charleston player down. He's red carded, and Sporting Jacks has to play with 10 men for the rest of the match. Take another look here. The reason why Rose was red carded here is because he was the last man back, the deepest defender aside from the goalkeeper, and so the red card comes out. So, 28th minute, Charleston takes advantage. Hosu Landry sets up the youngster Colton Swan for the goal. It's 1-0 Charleston. And that was just the start of things. 4 minutes later, watch the ball moving here. Jeremy Kelly with a through ball for Malik Foster. And Foster delivers. It's 2-0 Charleston just over half an hour in. More of the same as the game went on. A 4-0 final for Charleston. Sporting Jacks now looking to turn things around. As you see the numbers, they had to really just play defensively almost the entire game. These are not numbers you would see if you were 11v11. But Sporting Jacks now has to look ahead to a matchup today in Indianapolis.
A new week is a new opportunity. You know, every week we can come out here and improve to get better. And that's all we can do at the moment right now, regardless of what's going on during the games. The only thing that we can do as a team is stick together and try to push each other as hard as we can.
I think this is probably the first time where, everybody's fully fit, everybody's fully training. The gaffer's been brilliant with us in terms of, what he wants and how he wants us to play. And, we just kind of need to repay his fate. But I say we've got 3 real good games now. Obviously we go to Indy away, which is going to be a tough game. Sarasota in the cup, and then we go to Naples in the cup. And then we've got a little bit of a break with no game for a few weeks. So this is a real chance to put things right going into the break.
Well, first, it's really difficult in any road game in this league. Indy are physical, they're aggressive, so we're going to have to stand up to that. But we also want to be able to try and implement how we want to play in the game as well. We're obviously off the back of another disappointing performance. Things are, at the moment, things that I've said to you before, things that are going wrong are going wrong. We lose the red card and we take too long to adjust to that, and then before you know it, we're 3-0 down. So again, these are all valuable lessons for us moving forward.
All right, we now welcome in Corey Hertz. Corey, let's take a step back and look at the season from some perspective. What have you learned so far over the first quarter of the year?
Just how they keep losing. It's different ways each time. It's set pieces. It's the first 10 minutes. It's the last 10 minutes. It's a red card. It's just different ways of how they are losing these games. It's if they can put together a full 90 minutes, that will be interesting to see what they can get out of that.
Well, now they have to go away to Indianapolis. They're going to play on an artificial surface again. It's Indy 11 is a well-supported club, so they're going to have fans in the stands, and it doesn't get any easier in this Eastern Conference.
No, not at all. And that's what's tough is their stretch of games and who they're playing in the Eastern Conference are all very good teams. So it doesn't get any easier. And if they could pick up any point at Indiana, it would be huge for them.
Then after that, there is Prince Tire's USL Cup action. Boy, you'd love for them to get a victory before facing some USL League One teams, just for confidence and peace of mind.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want your first and second win throughout the whole season just against USL ones because people will use that as an excuse. Oh, they're not up to the level in that. So this Indiana game or Indy 11 is huge for their confidence.
All right, Corey, thank you. Let's take a look at the conference standings. Tampa Bay, the only team in the league without a loss. They're atop the East with Lou City, Detroit City, Charleston Battery, and Miami. Again, you just look at the entire top 7. That's exactly who Sporting Jacks has played so far this year. In the Western Conference, you've got San Antonio, who will be coming up later this month with a 1-point edge over Orange County and El Paso. Monterey Bay looking for the first win in the Western Conference as well. The men will be back home on Wednesday, May 27th, when San Antonio FC comes to Hodges Stadium. You can see the game on CBS Sports Network and hear it on SiriusXM. For tickets, go to sportingjacks.com. And you can also pick up your prorated season tickets. Get all the rest of the Sporting Jacks men's home games, including in the Prince Tires USL Cup and all the action from the USL Championship. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjacks.com. Coming up, he was one of the first signees for the men's team. How former UNF star Luc Granitur is improving as a pro. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report rolls on. All the games in the Gainbridge Super League can be seen streaming on Peacock. We should point out as well that the playoff games are exclusively on Peacock, so make your plans for that May 24th matchup with Sporting Jacks in the postseason. Tune in to Peacock. And all games in the USL Championship streaming on ESPN Plus or CBS Golazo or nationally broadcast on CBS Sports and CBS Sports Network and ESPN2. Home games can be seen on Channel 4 or CW17. Time now for our Ascension St. Vincent's player feature as we welcome back in Emerson Burris. Emerson, this week you caught up with the former Osprey, Luc Granitur, who found himself on the pitch Saturday for the first time since the opener.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes when you go pro, that means leaving home. But for one Sporting Jacks midfielder, staying right here in Jacksonville has meant everything.
To stay here, play in front of people I know, not be far from my family, and to be an inspiration to the kids of Jacksonville.
For Luc Granitur, that purpose goes beyond the pitch, built through his time at UNF, where he also mentored local kids through youth soccer.
To be able to show the kids, you can do this. Like, if I can do this, like, I'm not the most talented, but I've just worked my socks off for years. If I can do this, there's no reason none of you can.
And that mindset didn't come overnight. It started years earlier, just a couple hours south of Jacksonville, as a kid just playing for fun.
I grew up in Vero Beach, Florida. Probably started rec when I was 4, and was just fun to me, and like I was good at it, so I just stuck with it.
At 13, a tough loss became a turning point.
Played against Orlando City, and they like beat up on us like 10-0, I think, and I was like, I wish I could play on that team. Then like a week later, like they emailed me, they gave me a spot in the academy, like I went there, and then for me it was kind of real then. I'm be serious about this, like maybe I can actually do this.
That moment led him to UNC, but after 2 seasons, he needed a reset, and that fresh start came in Jacksonville and turned into something special.
My first year there, we only won 3 games, and the next year we won our conference, but I still had a losing record. And then my final year, we broke the school record for wins, and we had like a 9-game win streak at one point in the season.
Now with Sporting Jacks, he's leaning on those same lessons as the team builds.
When you come in every day, put your head down, work, put in an honest effort, and like and you just have belief, like it's going to change, like things are going to change, you're working every day. For me, like I've seen it firsthand. I've been the negative guy, and I've also been the positive guy, and it might not work out how you want to, but when you're the positive guy and the hard worker, like it always works out for you in some way.
As the men's team continues to grow, it's players like him building not just a team, but a connection to the community right here in Jacks.
It is so important to have people like Luc, not just because of his UNF connection, but because of his attitude, to be a part of this thing. Really great. Emerson, thanks so much. The men are back at home May 27th. As we mentioned, San Antonio comes to town. The game will be nationally broadcast on CBS Sports Network, but we want to see you there. 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjacks.com. Coming up, Emerson takes us overseas as Good Lad Soccer prepares to return to Northern Ireland for one of Europe's biggest youth tournaments. That's next as the Sporting Jacks report continues. As we prepare for the playoffs, be sure you are repping your hometown pro soccer teams. Get your Sporting Jacks merch by going to sportingjacks.com/shop or use the QR code on your screen. Time now for the Youth Soccer Spotlight. Emerson is back once again. This week we're revisiting a local youth soccer group that is again making plans for a big trip.
They sure are. Some of these local kids are headed across the pond overseas to Ireland as Good Lad Soccer prepares for the prestigious Foyle Cup. Head coach Gavin Carlin is leading the trip for the 2nd straight year, and after a successful debut in 2025, the program is nearly tripling in size for 2026. From Florida to Northern Ireland, Good Lad Soccer is preparing to compete on one of Europe's biggest youth soccer stages. The Foyle Cup features nearly 950 teams from around the world and gives players the opportunity to experience international competition while exploring Irish culture off the field. After bringing 25 players last summer, Carlin says the trip now has grown to 70 players and more than 200 total travelers for this year's tournament in Derry. I also spoke with returning player Eden Howell, who says the experience last summer challenged her against a completely different style of soccer than what players typically see in the U.S. While the competition overseas is physical and technical, the trip also gives players and families time to explore Ireland and create lifelong memories together. And for Carlin, returning to the same tournament he once played in as a player himself has made the experience even more meaningful.
For me personally, was standing in rural Ireland where I grew up and looking across the field and seeing people from Knockatee watching the game going back to me, and then it dawned on me, like, oh my God, they've followed me all the way here to the northwest of Ireland. Like, if they follow you there, they follow you anywhere. And then probably seeing then how well the teams took to the training and how tough they were, especially they were well warned about the Irish style. It's very physical in your face, and how they stood up and never backed down. Probably that there they proved themselves to be very tough.
Played great teams. The country is beautiful. Like, it was an amazing experience. I feel like the United States focuses more on like athleticism and like speed and strength, when over there it's more like technical and less like athleticism, if that makes sense. Really intense, but you get the most out of every training session. Like, I've never had a better coach.
The Foyle Cup runs July 20th through the 25th in Derry, Ireland, and Good Lad Soccer says plans are already underway for even more international trips in 2027.
I'm just saying we might have to go over there and cover that.
I think we should.
I mean, just for the trip to Ireland. Emerson, thanks so much. For more on Sporting Jacks in the world of soccer, join me every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL. The head coaches join me, Liam Fox and Stacey Balin, plus Sporting Jacks players. The Sporting Jacks Coaches Show, presented by Honda of the Avenues. You can listen on air at 1010 a.m., online or on demand at 1010XL.com. And for behind-the-scenes conversations about Sporting Jacks, join Emerson, Tony Allegretti, and me on the Sporting Pod. Subscribe wherever you find your favorite podcast. A new episode drops every week. Still to come, where you can find Sporting Jacks out and about in the community over the last few weeks. Our tour of the area is next as the Sporting Jacks Report continues. You can catch the Sporting Jacks Report every weekend on the stations of First Coast News. Next week, we air Saturday at 12:30 on NBC 12. Remember, you can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting Jacks YouTube channel. Time now for our Community Spotlight presented by Honda of the Avenues. And this week, I want to tell you about where Sporting Jacks was out and about. And we start with last week's First Friday at Friendship Fountain. Sporting Jacks was there with forward Paige Kenton and wingback Caroline Murray on hand to sign autographs for fans and meet the kids. Even met a couple of the dogs who were there. It's great to see how these players have embraced being a part of the community while representing Jacksonville so well. A reminder to follow us on social media, and I want to have a specific shout out. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to do so now. It may pay off for you in the very near future. You can find us on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And remember, we are just 35 days away from the start of the World Cup. That is 5 weeks, folks. We'll be covering more of what's happening with the World Cup here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Thank you so much for watching the Sporting Jacks Report. We'll leave you now with some images of local kids getting to know the Sporting Jacks pros. We'll talk to you next week right here on the Sporting Jacks Report.